Hello guys, welcome back to a beautiful day. We're outdoors in the countryside. Well, in the city really. I want to show you that backdrop for today's footage because it's a lovely day. As you can probably see, I've got views all across the city. So I've just come up here and I want to make a few videos. I'm trying to get back into filming basically every day, or at the very least uploading every single day, so a few days of bulk filming here and there. Anyway, today I want to be talking about something which is, as time goes on, dawning on me a lot more. And despite me being 21, right, it's becoming more and more apparent that I know people who are 31, 41, maybe even older, who still haven't realised this fact. And the fact is, as I want to put it, progression is not guaranteed. You know, it's really interesting when you're out here. I mean, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I can literally see someone sat on that field, just that tiny dot there. Anyway, I suppose that's really getting away from the point. I just wanted to share this beautiful view with you guys because it is an absolutely lovely day. But progression is not guaranteed. So what do I mean by this? Well, it's only now I'm starting to get a bit older and expectations and arguably the realities of the world are starting to set in, that you quickly realise that there is a path up to about the age of probably 25, which most people are on. In most instances, it's not necessarily a path of their own making, it's not necessarily a path of their own willing. I think the most clear-cut example that I can give of this is going to be the education system, right? You know, you go to school, you get a job, all the rest of it. When you're a kid, or an early teenager, or even in your 20s, society kind of tells you what to do. And I guess I've been through that stage in the sense that yes, I have been to university, yes, I have got my degree, I have had a job, I have been to school, college, whatever, all the rest of it, right? I have got a car, this and that. So I think you get to a point where you achieve all of these, you could say, mandatory or arbitrary expectations in life. Again, you get yourself a car, you get a house, this and that. And you quickly realise, okay, well that's just kind of the basics. And it's kind of like when I was speaking about corporate life the other day, and I said that not much comes after corporate life. And to sum up that video, if you didn't watch it, what I was essentially suggesting was, you know, you go to school, college and all of this, like I'm saying, and once you've got a job, you're basically in it for 40 years. There might be a pay increase here and there. It's really a very stagnant position. And this kind of compares to what I'm saying in life, because I want you guys to just think about this on a basic common sense level. Think about the age from, I'm going to say about 13, or even 10, but I'm going to say 13 because I feel like that's when you really start to get a little bit of consciousness about you on a deeper level, to age 23 or 25, right? But we'll say 23 to make the numbers easy. That's just a 10-year window. But in that time period, your life looks completely different. Look at anyone, right? I could take myself, for example. 10 years ago, I was 13. Now, obviously, for that reason, I didn't really have much going on. Now, I've got a car, I've got a business, I've got this YouTube channel, I've got this, I've got so many more things, right? I've done so many more things. I've been to places I couldn't imagine and so on. So that has been a massive period of development. But now you're starting to realise, or at least I'm starting to realise, that going forwards into the next 10 years, you know, there might be kids, there might be marriage, but everything else, if following the traditional path, remains fairly similar. Maybe you get a bigger house, faster car, but if you're following the plain and planned path, everything else is relatively the same. Now this matters because as somebody coming into my mid-20s, really, because I'm 22 this year, so soon enough we'll be coming into the mid-20s. As someone coming into this time period, you quickly see that you could argue the mandatory expectations really start to drop off. You don't have parents pushing you to do stuff. You don't have teachers pushing you to do stuff. Everything else is on your head. Because, you know, really up until this point of about, let's say, 22 years old, 21, 22, when you graduate from university, everything is very, very clearly mapped out. Going forwards, it's kind of like you're all on your own. Now, I guess initially you could make the argument that this seems scary. However, this is actually insanely powerful. because now you can choose what you do. I've said this before and I've said this again. I will say it again. Not everybody's going to like what you do. For example, I run my businesses, right? I'm told all the time that I should get a proper job. If I had a proper job, people would be telling me this. If I had a house of this, and people would be telling me that. So people will still put their interpretations in, but not in the same way that they did when you were a child. And more than likely, you won't even listen to them. So now that you're all on your own, which to a large extent is what you are past the age of, let's say, 25 at the very most, you quickly realize another thing. And you quickly realize it when you look around. And this is where I was referencing people aged, 25, 35, 45. Because I know people who've done the same job for 5 years, 10 years. And that's fine, guys. Because I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what's wrong with that? If people work a job that they love, there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I applaud it a lot. I think that's probably the major win in life. But you talk to people and you quickly realize that in a lot of instances, it's not like that. They work a job that they admit to hate. They live in a place that they don't like. The car that they have is an old banger. They don't like it. It's not good. There's no job progression, right? In this instance, following this path, you're on a life that will not change. You see, up to this point of about 25, life progression is almost guaranteed. At the very least, even if you do nothing else, you will get your personal freedoms, right? Because you're an adult. You can do stuff that you couldn't have done. Past that point, there's no right or necessarily necessity for things to change. It's not a guaranteed factor like it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So things have the absolute possibility of staying stagnant, really ad infinitum. This is an absolute possibility. And you see it happening more and more as you get older and older. You see people who've been working at the same company for 10 years, they moan about it every day, but they still don't change. Because when you get to a certain point in life, you have to realize that it's all on your head. It's all in your head, if I can speak clearly, right? It's all on your head. And again, that is a really powerful thing to do. It's also a really challenging thing to do because it means that everything really does come back on you. And that comes with a lot of challenges as well as being a very good thing. But be it delusion, be it the way that the school system programs people or anything else that you could say, right? I have genuinely met so many people at this stage who say, in a couple of years' time, this and this and that. And it won't happen because life progress doesn't happen unless you make it. No one's necessarily coming to find you for the promotion, not unless you put in 100% effort. No one's coming to give you a nicer car, no one's coming to get you a nicer apartment, and the reality of it, guys, in today's world, I'm not trying to be horrible, but just look around. Things are going to become more expensive, harder to access, and it's going to become a very big divide, or an even bigger divide, I should say, between the winners and the losers. This is where this level of understanding really comes in powerful and important. Because by failing to see that it all comes down on your head, you put the responsibility onto other people. You put the responsibility on your employer to see your talent rather than searching for better jobs or asking for a promotion. You put the onus on the government for high inflation and high cost of living rather than either moving to a different country or increasing your income in the country that you're in. We could go on with so many different examples, right? But this is just the reality of the way most people think. And the thing is, the later you realize this in life, and I really think some people don't realize it at all, the harder it's going to be to create the path that you want. And again, maybe I am just a little bit deluded, I don't know, but I feel like learning this at age 21, or even younger than that, because I'm talking about it now, I learned it a couple of years ago, is nothing but helpful to me. Because again, I am fully aware that the path that I am on, a lot of you guys won't like. A lot of even my family or friends may not like. That's fine. But at the same time, I know where I'm going in this path. And again, the height of responsibility, the height of accountability. When I make mistakes, it's on my head. But at least I'm trying to do what I want. And I mean that in the sense of, yeah, be responsible, be helpful, try and be as successful as you can. But a lot of people are A, following a lifestyle that other people see as successful, and B, following a lifestyle which is not really moving them forwards. If you're in a position where you've got everything you want, that's fine. But a lot of people that I speak to, actually most people that I speak to, they don't have everything they want. Be that mental, spiritual, physical, financial. But in a couple of years when my cards come to whatever people say, right? There is no progression in adult life unless you force it. You have to force adult life progression, otherwise it will never come to you. And I feel like people don't realize this, or at least don't see the significance of what this means. There is a situation in life, guys, and I don't say this to be harsh, but it's true. There's a situation in life where you don't make it. There's a situation in life where your dreams don't come true. And the only thing that can stop that situation being the case is your efforts. So if you are in that mindset, please stop looking to other people. They're not going to help you. Only you can do it. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.